Baron is back. Like, honestly, it's been, what, 3 weeks? And even then, no one knows who I am, so that pretty much means nothing to most of you. Over the course of several years, it's been several years, possibly since the beginning, YouTube has had a good amount of rivals. Storyfire being a main one, Rumble still being a main one, despite not getting as much credit or being talked about, despite its political leanings. And there's other ones like Daily Motion here and there, and probably a few others I'm probably neglecting most likely in this. But this video is mainly talking about Odysee. What is Odysee, you may ask? Since most of you that are on YouTube probably don't know what Odysee is. First of all, how did you find this video? But secondly, I do not blame you, because there's a reason for that. If I had to give a proper summary of Odysee, it'll be a semi-centralized YouTube. What that means in concept is the creators have a lot more freedom, since the site itself is not meant to be breathing down your throat for whatever reason. Whether it's for ads or it's for, oh yeah, you gotta do this so you can be more advertiser friendly. It always goes back to advertisers. It's weird like that, but it really is like Kick in a way, where it's more open to actually make content, but at the same time, a lot of the creators on Odysee don't advertise they're on YouTube and vice versa. I think that's partly because of how strict YouTube can be, since keep in mind these are the same people that just make rules on a whim, and people are just kind of helpless to do anything about it. So giving them actual reason to take you down, it wouldn't be too far of a stretch to assume they just take you down immediately when you're actually too big. But it's not Twitch when it comes to just competitive aspect, where they would just actively kick you out. So it's very iffy if they actually do enact upon that, or they just offer you something better, which, yeah, that's fair. Because keep in mind, Odysee's current state is probably not on the same level of quality as 2012 YouTube. Let me cook before I say this. That's surely because the funding they get and also the fanfare they get is it's just less overall compared to YouTube. Obviously, since Google money's backing them, they have the reason, but also are more benevolent, since for the most part they see it as, oh yeah, where else are you supposed to go? Kick, Rumble of all places? Psh. Which, yeah, that's fair. That's actually a fair announcement. A lot of people are just like that. But what else is here? Oh yeah, that. There's also a few other problems I neglected to mention before. Along with the algorithm being basically 2012-ish YouTube, it was in part operated off of crypto. To be fair, it was around 2020. So this is when Bitcoin was actually going still up and was widely recommended, along with several other crypto coins. Fun fact, Library doesn't exist anymore, which was behind Odysee, but Odyssee's still there. Don't ask me how that works, it just is. But it did operate off of that, and they're still working on trying to fix a workaround around that. But that's not how I see Odysee in this current state, since at this point the best course of action is more to be a secondary bastion for creators, since a lot of creators already do that. There's Cinemasker on there, there's Optimus on there, there's several others. Even Jaden was on there at one point. Wait, drama or not, there's still an era of verifiability when it comes to there. So when you actually come on there, especially someone that actually has more than 50k, 100k, you pretty much have a guarantee of having your videos saved or at least remembered by people. I know it's like that for archive people on YouTube as well, but the archive people are not one of the same, because especially since a good half of them have the content but not in full, so there's an absurd amount of lost media on here. But in Odysee, you don't have to worry about any of that unless you're actually breaking your rules and open about it, which most people aren't open about it, so obviously they're not gonna have any issues there. But I think the leading question is, why would you choose Odyssey over YouTube, or would I recommend it? I would. Obviously, being probably one of the only Odyseean barons on Odyssey, I'm kind of biased in this case, but let me explain. You don't have to make Odyssey your main platform, but I do recommend you advertise it more as either a secondary site, or B, have it be your mini hub, essentially, where you can put maybe some content that otherwise wouldn't be on YouTube or YouTube wouldn't approve of, and just put it over there. Since if you really like what you do and don't really care about the money especially, I definitely recommend it, since you can just kind of do what you wish without the threat of having millions of creators down your throat at the same time, since obviously YouTube's super competitive, so it's hard to get your voice out there. But at the same time, with less people down your throat as well, there's a lot more room to grow on Odyssey, despite the recent gap in creators. But if anything, it gives you more reason to use the Odyssey as well, since you can create the stuff that you really like on Odyssey without any actual fear of it being taken down, unless you do something actively against their guidelines, which they do have some, but just not as strict. Or B, yeah, that's pretty much it. It's just basically breaking their guidelines, really. So you're pretty much supposed to anything that wouldn't be on YouTube, or stuff that you just can't naturally post. And by the way, you don't have to upload it twice. You can just upload it on the Odyssey and choose to send it over to YouTube, by the way. So you can just naturally have it as a secondary source or a primary source if you really feel like it. You can really have both, and that's why I recommend it, since having the luxury of both while not having the restraints that you would with falling over to YouTube's will, and also not having to deal with Odyssey's secondary problem of not really having a true audience, due to the fact that the audience is naturally occurring from Odyssey. You need to go out of your way to actually get people in. Just that's partly a side effect of not having big creators on there, and the algorithm being and a la 2012 YouTube at best. There's moments where it's lower than that, but again, we're getting there. But not having both those problems, you gotta get the best of both worlds to a degree. So in concert, I really do recommend using Odyssey. If you don't really want to use it as a primary source, that's fine, but I really do recommend it using it as a secondary source, especially since you don't have to lock your more passionate projects behind a paywall or anything with Patreon or anything like that. It's just a natural site. You just post stuff without any actual fear of anything happening to it, for the most part again. But obviously not trying to drown y'all out for hours on end, so I'm just going to leave it at that and let you come to your own decision. I would have my Odyssey link and a few others that I recommend under me, since I only have 2 videos, and honestly I wouldn't do myself enough justice if I didn't link other creators, especially the ones that actually did help in this video. So I will link those, and I will see y'all next time. I'm not telling you who I'm doing next because I don't even know yet. So, oh yeah, Baron out.